Hi, everybody. So, we are back with another episode of Tales of Tairiku. I'm happy to be back. Unfortunately, we missed last week because of some hubbub, but this week we shall continue. Unfortunately, we are missing Architect, but I have a very wonderful placeholder for him for the time being. Pardon me. So, hopefully, he won't be too missed. So, as far as announcements... my wife and I will be out of town next week, unfortunately. Very small get-together type deal. So we will not be available to play. But hopefully, assuming everything goes well and the world doesn't melt between now and then, we should have another episode before the new year, and then we're on to a new year. And should have a much more free and open schedule. I think that's pretty much the long and short of it. No other major announcements, I don't think. Just, playing our game, trying to enjoy, doing our thing.
I just looked over at the picture that you have up.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Yes. I figured that would be a very good placeholder and really capture the energy that the Architect has given off so far.
Gotta go look. Amazing.
Yeah. But as a brief recap, our party of adventurers here were finishing up their work with Thief Master Asano, and in doing so, ended up at odds with a group of Imperial agents. A Mr. Matsura and his various companions that seemed to know Lee and were demanding that he come with them. A fight broke out, a significant amount of violence. You got to see firsthand just how dangerous Mr. Matsura and his companions can be. But you were able to fend them off. They were not prepared for your collective strength and abilities, and as such, you were able to be safe. There was one individual who was captured, and then subsequently executed by Ray, who proceeded to then have to come to grips with the understanding that she just ended a life, her first real life ever, and did not process it very well. As is to be expected from a 12-year-old who just killed somebody. There are whole animes based off this, guys. Come on. But with some inter-party... Why don't we
give all the children PTSD?
Right? It's how we turn them into superheroes.
Tragic backstory makes good characters,
Yes, exactly. Because suffering breeds character, apparently. But, after dealing with that and the party returning to discuss the success of their endeavor with Thief Master Asano, you guys were given a scroll. And in the scroll detailed a list of possible leads and locations to follow to find the 8 Pieces of Orochi. You guys had collected yourself. Hachimoto, was entrusted to you as a friend, companion, butler, and guide of a sorts. He, being pretty well traveled and pretty well learned about the goings-ons in the world, is there to help you out and give you some answers if he can. We last left our party outside the tower that Ray had constructed with her magic. An evening's rest occurring after some discussion with Ray and her struggle with the day's activities. We will kick off there. And Ray, actually, we will start with you. And I need to do something very quickly. Sorry. So, Ray, as we start with you, you come awake in your little private chamber that you have. You just kind of passed out on the bed that you had been resting on. And you come to find a small piece of parchment has been laid out right neatly in front of you. And parchment reads as such. I'm sending you on the Book of Faces. So, hopefully
I closed that tab because I'm supposed to be focusing on the game,
well,
Tyler.
I'm sorry, I don't have a better way of sending you a message, because if I do so with I just didn't have a good setup to send it to you on Discord, so I'm trying to be as sneaky as possible.
Okay.
You are.
I got it. So I will take the next minute or so to read this. It looks fairly lengthy. If you want to hop over to...
Ray rolling over and kind of beginning to rub the sleep from her eyes and read through the parchment that's been placed down for her. The rest of you, I would say Lee and Yukio are probably some of the first ones up. Cirrus as well, following shortly after. You guys wake up in and around this little tower that's been fairly well protected and well put together. Hachi is already up and making breakfast on the big fire that's been set up outside. And you can smell the warm, spiced porridge that he's making. It seems rather tasty. Zavis, you wake up to the smell of food, making your way from your chambers out to the front of the tower. And May, you are one of the last to wake up. The day's labors and the difficulties of the prior day left you feeling fairly tired, so you took an opportunity to sleep just a little bit longer. You guys see the architect is standing up on the balcony in the observatory portion of this tower, and he's looking in the wrong end of the telescope. You're not exactly sure why or what he's looking for, and when you pester him about it, he says, "Hold on, I've almost got it." And that's all he says. He continues to look down the wrong end of it. So, Hachi down there, I imagine, as you guys make your way down to the food, some fresh fried little like strips of bacon and a nice rice porridge. As he goes, "So, we are to be going east, correct?"
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna start grabbing food.
The porridge is hot, but you don't really care. You just start stuffing it into your mouth.
This physique needs a lot of protein.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
He's got like a big like wok basically that he's cooking it in.
Oh, yes.
Fire doesn't hurt me, I'll reach in.
What was that, Lee?
I was just saying Tahachi towards. Oh, no, I forgot the name. Hatsu Village. Yeah. Towards Hatsu Village, right?
Yes.
It would be the most logical first stop on our list, considering we are currently in Nakhon Province.
All right.
Oh, what?
Hachi goes, "Well, I've been to Hatsu once or twice. It's rather idyllic, very pretty. It's probably 3 days travel, roughly. I mean, if we keep a clip pace, maybe a little quicker. By the way, is your young friend okay? She seemed rather out of sorts."
We know as much as you with that.
She'll get over it. It's fine, you know. First kill. She'll be all
Oh, yeah, no, that would be very traumatizing.
Some might find it traumatizing.
I expect she'll get over it in time.
Yeah, I started around her age.
So did I.
That terrifies me deeply. I'll finish up with breakfast and get to cleaning up, and we can be on our way whenever.
Oh no, we're all psychos. Oh god.
I was gonna say earlier, like, I don't know, I mean, two of us were totally okay with just, like, murdering a dude, plus, you know, Ray did it, or Ray? Ray did it.
May did and Ray did.
So yeah, I think all of us have a little bit of something, but...
Just a little bit fucked up.
We're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
All right.
It's all good.
So, as you guys gather yourselves, breakfast is had, and you have about 3 or so days travel ahead of you. As you make your way towards the main road. You see that there is a small wagon with a pair of sizable draft horses that has been procured by Hachi. He was up before the dawn and had prepared this. And he goes, excellent. And he walks up to the half-elven man who is currently holding onto a very bored expression on his face as he's minding the wagon. And Hachi waddles up to him, places a few pieces of gold in his hand, and thanks him and goes, I've got it. I've got us a cart. Should make the trip a little bit easier.
Oh, are these easy to obtain?
Yes, I suppose. Not, and I wouldn't call it difficult, but
I need to keep that in mind when I go home. I walked all the way here for the most part. This would have been a lot easier.
Oh dear, where did you walk from?
I just assumed we would walk. I came from Yamamoto province.
You've been on the road for the better part of a month, then.
Yeah?
Oh.
Have you ever heard of a thing called a horse?
I've seen them, but I've never ridden one.
I expect most couldn't carry you. No offense intended.
No, none taken.
I think a war horse can.
I'm definitely taller than a lot of most horses, so it does make my feet tend to hit the ground a little bit. It's not the best.
You need to get yourself a big war horse.
They make war horses?
I mean, yes.
I've only seen ones in the wild, really, until now.
Hold on, I'll show you what a proper war horse looks like. Just give me some time.
Oh. I don't know if that's a threat or a promise, but I'm excited.
All right. As you guys gather up, I keep getting distracted because the image I put up for the placeholder for Arc has a finger up, and every time I see it out of my peripherals, I stop to address it because it looks like it wants attention.
Because it looks like he is doing it.
Yeah. And he does it. He does it a lot. In fairness, so I'm just like,
yeah. No, might be problematic for you, man.
It might be. Hopefully we don't have to do this too often. So, moving forward, I know Ray has a horse. Zavis, do you have a horse or do you just summon a horse?
I just summon a horse.
Gotcha.
I summon a war horse, so I'll just go ahead and start working on summoning my war horse. It takes 10 minutes.
Gotcha. After about 10 minutes, Zavis finishes his kind of quiet incantation, and if you'd like to describe what your horse looks like, as it seems to just gallop out of the ether.
Yeah, just a big old, black and red war horse.
Is anything that Zavis does quiet?
No. I mean, maybe.
I mean, when absolutely necessary, yeah, sure.
Something like Shadowmere and Daedric armor.
Yeah, that would be pretty good, yeah.
Yep. That's pretty great. Alright, as this massive armored warhorse comes galloping out of the nothingness, and then sets, it's huge. Clearly easily big enough to carry May.
Yeah, you need to get yourself one of these, and I'll just, tap the spiritual horse.
Slap him on the rump.
I don't quite have the summoning magics for that, but that's...
Well, there are horses that are real animals this size. I'm sure we can find you one.
I would love that one day.
It's just usually a bit more on the expensive side.
Hachi goes, good. And now that we're all arranged, any last minute shopping you have to do? Because I'm ready to roll.
I don't know. Do we need anything anymore? I mean, any more rations? Anyone need anything?
All right.
At whose expense was this cart procured?
Funny enough, I own the cart. I've rented the horses.
Oh, thank you, Hachi. You're rather attentive.
Yeah.
Yes, Thief Master Asano likes me quite a bit. I've developed a few good what's the word? organizational talents. I'm excellent at administrating, which is why he keeps me around. I just also am, unfortunately, very unlucky sometimes. So he kind of stares off into the distance. He gets a kind of a harrowed look on his face and then shakes himself.
Brief flashbacks.
Yeah.
According to his scroll, we'll eventually be heading towards the Valley of Screams, so that should be fun for you.
Oh,
Ooh.
right.
Valley of Screams. Hmm.
That's okay.
It
One day at a
sounds
time.
lovely.
Everybody hop on as he kind of climbs he's fairly round. He's a pretty chunky little dude as he climbs his way up onto the driver's seat and sits down and makes sure everybody gets a chance to get arranged. The wagon is not well appointed. It's simple wooden thing, but it's got enough space and a couple of like rolled, essentially like tatami, just very rolled mats that are set in there as kind of makeshift seats. With somebody sitting up front next to Hachi, and 2 people on horses. That leaves, four spaces in the back. I believe 4 or 5 spaces in the back. Not too bad.
If there's not room, Yukio's totally fine with just being on top, assuming there's a roof.
Yeah, there's not. It is not a covered wagon. It is
Okay,
just an
not covered.
open
Never
wagon.
mind then.
But yeah, there's enough space for the lot of you to get in there. Who would like to sit up next to Hachi?
I feel
Okay.
like the architect would do that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, normally I think he would.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
makes his way right up and then immediately asks if he can drive. Hachi just is doing his best to just not make eye contact. All right.
Wait,
I
no,
have
look,
a
I'm
paper.
licensed. See?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's okay. I'm official.
Yeah.
All right. As you get going, I would like somebody to roll a D10 for me. Yes, Ray.
Real quick, it does Cirrus isn't on horseback, correct?
No, Cirrus is in the wagon, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not come on a horse, so I'm definitely in the wagon.
So if Ray will offer up the horse to him if he wants it.
Her.
Um,
Cirrus is a girl.
if he doesn't want it, she'll just try and keep her horse as close to him as possible, even though he's on the cart.
No, I'll pass on that.
Also,
Okay.
Cirrus is a woman, by the way.
Yeah.
Ah, sorry. I
Sorry.
screwed that up
You're good.
No, I do.
repeatedly.
What is happening?
All right.
Whenever there are trees like close to the road, like dense trees, I'll probably be swinging alongside the cart.
There's not a ton of trees in this portion. There are a few like sparse bits here and there, so every once in a while you are able to like hop out and kind of jump along and swing your way through. You know, just keeping yourself limber. I imagine Yukio is napping or
Probably, yeah, napping in the wagon.
napping in the wagon.
If he can find somewhere comfortable to like lean up against, I assume, yeah, he'll probably like or look like he's napping at the very least, you know. Just kind of sit there, not really doing much.
Perfect. All right. So who's going to roll the D10 for me?
I did. I got a 2.
Got a 2. All right. You have an easy day's travel. As you head further inland, eventually through a long kind of day of just traveling along an easy kind of winding road, making your way eastward, you're traveling through kind of rolling hills and grasslands. A lot of farming land is nearby. You see different farms kind of off in the distance, left and the right of you. The salty sea breeze does fade after a few hours of travel, and gives way to the smell of fresh, well-rained grass. It is spring, proper spring here, so it is the growing season. There are a few clouds that move through the sky. There's a patch of darker clouds to your right, down to the south, where you can see it's probably storming a little bit down there, or at the very least, about to rain. But the day itself is an easy journey. Not too breezy. It's an idyllic sort of day. Pleasant as you make your way along. You pass people going fore and back on the road. There is an occasional turnoff to a smaller little like collection of houses that may not quite be considered a village or a neighborhood. But nothing too terribly odd happens. Is there anything you guys would like to do during that day, or shall we move on to the next?
May's just gonna look up at the clouds, pointing out a little overexcitedly every time one particularly looks like an animal or some kind of creature.
Oh, it's very sweet.
I don't have anything.
All right. Then, as you guys bed down and set up camp for the evening, you're able to get through that just fine. Your next day's travel. I would like somebody to roll a d10 for me.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'm trying.
I got a 7.
7. All right.
Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7. Is this
We
the...
shall see.
You guys are traveling along, and you make your way around a bend where the hills kind of get high on either side of you for a bit, and you end up going through what looks like a partially carved out kind of gully of a sorts, or like a valley, but the hills themselves just kind of turn to sort of cliffs on either side for a little ways. You're about 3 or so hours into your day. You haven't seen anybody on the road yet today, except for people that you had left behind who were camping super lazily and hadn't gotten up before you guys. When I will say, God, who has the highest passive perception?
Mine should be decent, but I think someone's was higher.
15.
My thing isn't working.
I've got a
Also think
17.
someone's is higher.
I've got a 17 also.
Okay.
Passive perception. Oh yeah, 15.
I would say Cirrus and Lee, you both kind of pick up on this kind of right before everybody else, but as you guys are making your way along, the animals have quieted. And just as you're kind of looking around and your eyes kind of sweep forward, you see a bit of a strange sight. It looks like the road itself curves kind of fairly significantly to the right. But you see a couple of bodies laying in the road, just to the right of where the bend is, and you can just kind of see what looks to be a couple of, humanoid bodies, perhaps.
Halt the cart.
Okay. Hachi pulls up on the reins.
Yeah. Hold up for a second.
There are some bodies ahead.
Oh.
Interesting.
I'll go check them out.
Assume there's no chance they're sleeping. Right there, friend?
Probably not. The road tends to be dangerous.
Oh.
All right. Lee, you said you're going to go check it out. Is anybody going with Lee?
I will join you. Yeah.
I'll go
Yeah,
too.
as well.
Okay. So, sneakies.
I will also, following behind, ready to perform rites.
Okay. So, the architect, also curious, hops off and immediately begins to follow. He kind of goes, "Oh, good, all of us. Sneaky then, right?"
Yeah, I'm sneaking a little bit ahead of everybody.
Okay. Cirrus, Yukio, and Lee, make stealth checks for me, please.
I got a 25.
I got a 22.
Oh.
Got a solid 6.
Oh no.
Solid 6. Nice. So as your two sneakier companions begin making their way forward kind of quickly and deftly, immediately kind of hunkering down in the grass next to the road and kind of making their way up. In fact, Lee gets up on the side of the cliff a little bit and is just kind of climbing expertly along. Cirrus, not really seeing necessarily any need to quiet herself, just kind of begins walking through the thrushes. Eventually, the three of you do come up around the side of this bend, and you can see as you get closer, there are approximately 6 humanoid bodies, all strewn all about. 2 horses also lay dead. Several of these bodies have been crushed, bludgeoned, or otherwise just ruined, and there's a fair amount of gore that's spread all around. There is a large wagon that has a large covered wagon that has the top of it has been completely ripped off. And as you're looking, you see probably about 20 or so feet away from the mess, there are 2 hulking, red-skinned, muscular figures, each with a pair of short, kind of stumpy but curved and angry-looking horns. Their jaws heavy, their eyes beady. These are Oni, as you recognize. Oni in the classic sense. 2 large, red-skinned Oni dressed in just pelts and simple leathers, each with a sizable, like, hooked club, like a wooden club with like some sort of large beast's tooth kind of wedged into the top of it to form a makeshift pick. As they are about 20 or so feet behind the covered wagon, each of them like holding on to one side of a chest, like they're like tug of warring on it as they're growling and grunting at one another.
Okay, before we go any further, I'm gonna whisper to Yukio. Are you familiar with these creatures? Do you think we're strong enough to fight them?
Gather.
What are your knowledge skills?
I've got Arcana as usual.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an Arcana.
Eventually, 13.
13. Getting just at a glance, you can't necessarily tell how powerful they are. Oni can be very deceptive because despite their size, many of them are very capable of magic. But it's hard to differentiate which ones are magical and which ones are simply mundane brutes. You do know they all speak giant, in addition to some of them speaking the common tongue. Yes, Sadis?
Do I see them?
As you are making your way up, your companions are a little bit further ahead of you, so you're not quite there yet.
Okay.
Oh, can I roll an insight to see if I can kind of infer any ability, like about them?
Absolutely.
Maybe, like, in the...
Go ahead and make an insight check.
I figured like the battlefield may have some kind of like inclination towards not just like being smashed, but there might be some kind of magically...
Yeah. No. Please make an insight check.
So I'll respond to Lee. It's rather hard to say. They're quite a diverse demon Oni, or yokai, I should say.
Sirius, is your...
Big to rip the top off of a wagon, so mildly concerning.
I'll go back and warn the rest of the party.
Okay. The rest of the party is probably only about 30 or so feet behind you guys, so you're able to hop back and explain that. Sirius, while you're kind of peeking around through the thrushes and observing these 2, they both seem very strong, and as you look, both of them each have one meaty hand around one like end of a very large iron-bound chest, and they're pulling on it back and forth. They seem to be griping over who gets the chest. Do you speak giant?
Let me take a look here. I don't know if I... no, I do not.
Okay, you cannot make out what they are saying, unfortunately. Because
Okay.
Tongue of the Sun and Moon is not until like 13th or 14th level.
Gotcha.
But monks, man, they eventually just get to speak every language because why not?
Why not?
Right.
That is really cool.
But as you see them going back and forth, you immediately get the sense, like a sense of kinship, like siblings. They look like a couple of kids, a couple of brothers, perhaps, fighting over a toy, it seems. And that mentality strikes you as kind of distinct. As far as their strength and capabilities, most of the humanoids seem to have been killed with a single blow. And the horses, one of them looks like took one really hard hit to the ribs and died. The other one has a few broken legs and its neck has been just brutally snapped. But you see no scorch marks, nothing like that. It doesn't no indication that there was any magic used.
Sure. Well, I will relay that to the group. That from the battle scene, there's nothing that indicates any kind of magical inclination, but they do seem fairly tough.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I'm gonna go kill them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yes, but allow me to approach and get the first strike, and then everyone move in. On my mark.
Stealthy types, sure.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's the case, let me set up the battlefield for you.
If we're doing this, then that's cool. I mean, they snapped a horse's neck. That worries me a little bit personally, but
Yeah.
That horse ain't done nothing.
They're in our road, and I'm curious as to what's in the chest.
I am also
There's a chest, and if we don't kill them, they'll keep killing travelers.
All right. So you guys are, we'll say, able to arrange yourselves. We'll put you over here, and these two ogre brothers, or Oni brothers, whatever they are kind of over here past this copse of trees. Please use your theater of the mind to imagine all sorts of hell and carnage in and amongst the road, because I neglected to put that on there. Bleep. So please arrange yourselves how you suspect you would be. You are currently kind of hidden by this cliff's edge.
I failed to log into Roll20 before the session.
Sorry.
I knew I was missing something.
Hey, it's fair. It happens.
But it looks like I stayed logged in, so not a big deal.
Before we start, can I go ahead and just cast Jump on myself?
Yeah. You guys can take any time you want to
real quick, Yukio. If Ray sees you casting buffs on yourself, she'd probably offer up Longstrider.
Okay.
So that gives you 10 extra feet of movement for an hour.
Cool.
Alright. Your base speed is increased by 10.
She can also target more people. If anybody around her sees her casting that and wants that, she will oblige.
Anybody want Longstrider?
I'll take that as a no.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Jeff, did you say something?
Oh no, my movement speed's pretty decent, so I think I should be okay.
I mean, my movement speed's also pretty good already, but I'll take it.
I mean,
that's fine.
I'd take it.
Fair
And
enough.
actually, I would take it too.
Alright, so cast at second level. That's Zavis and Yukio.
Woo! 50 feet now?
So how's that gonna work with triple jump distance? Like, I know I can't just, like, yeet myself across.
Well, we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
Yeah. Jump distance is based on your strength.
Yep.
Okay. Thought it was based, like, vaguely upon your movement in general. Like, you can't get past it.
The way it works is that you are... you can... Basically, you can't jump farther than your movement would allow.
Which generally strength doesn't get to that point anyway, where you could jump.
But there are certain exceptions, like with spells.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm all ready.
Okay.
Well, I'm
Anybody
gonna
else?
cast Shadow Blade.
Alright. I would like everyone to roll initiative then.
Ooh, this die just gives me horrible numbers earlier. I'll use this one.
Okay. So before before we start combat, can I just cast Tree Strike?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It lasts for, I believe, 1 round, so we'll say
Yeah.
you cast True Strike and you're ready and waiting. Alright.
I rolled a 10, by the way.
Alright.
Actually, hold on. I might want to do something in addition to that. Sorry, my mother gave me her old Kindle, and I'm trying to navigate the web page on it, and it's somewhat slow, and it's not super functional because it's the web page. And not
Gotcha.
I might just switch back to my phone.
Yukio, what did you get for initiative?
Right. I was looking for that. There's the button. Come on. Definitely takes a minute. Well, that's high, but I have initiative anyway, or advantage anyway. So 19 looks like.
19? Alright.
Yeah. Okay, so actually, I'm gonna cast Vanishing Smite and then cast True Strike.
Okay. True Strike is not concentration, correct?
Oh wait, nope, it is. I thought it wasn't, but it is. Ignore the True Strike then, and I will just cast
just casting Vanishing Smite. Alright. And then I just need to get... Okay. And then arc. Just making sure I have all of the peoples in here. Have to get Arc's character sheet open. Yeah. There we go. 8 plus. Initiative bonus of 0. Okay, so he just has an 8. Cool. Alright. So, because you guys are sneaky, you all get to go in order, so we'll start with Yukio.
Cool. Since Lee requested to make the first move, I will... I'm just gonna put myself behind Lee right now.
Okay.
Or wait, no, that's in front of Lee.
May, is there anything you would like to do then?
I'll just 15.
Is this the surprise round?
Yes.
Yeah, I would actually... Sorry. Yeah, okay. I would like to use a first level Bane.
Okay. What?
Oh wait, I don't think I'm close enough.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably would have to move up, but you can. Okay. Peering through the trees as you make your way forward, you point. You have a staff, right?
Yes.
Okay. As you point your staff forward and you mutter a small prayer to the Kodama, hold your hands in a seal, and you feel your magic take effect.
Mm-hmm. It'll be it'd be a Charisma 17 save. For both of them.
Unfortunately, that does not work. I rolled a natural 17 and a natural 20, so...
Oh, that's rude.
As you go to cast your magic, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to take any effect.
Okay. May will noticeably shrug and just go, oh, okay. That would be that.
Okay. Moving on to Lee.
Okay. I I can move up to this guy with 20 feet of movement, so that would be half my speed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to roll another stealth check?
No, these guys are not paying attention. You all are able to sneak up. They literally aren't paying any attention to either of you. They're just both pulling on this chest and growling at each other in a guttural language.
Excellent. So I will do some sneak attack on this closest one.
Okay.
With my Shadow Blade.
Alrighty. As you've summoned a blade made of pure shadowy energy. It seems to kind of ripple and shift as you twist and turn it, its length never seeming consistent.
Hell yeah. Alright, first attack is a 17 to hit.
17 hits.
Okay. This is gonna be hopefully nasty. With the amount of dice I can roll, because as an assassin rogue, any hit I score in a surprise when enemies are affected by the surprise condition is a critical hit, so.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh boy, okay. 12, 17, 27, plus 8 is 35, plus my flat is... What is my flat? Oh, it's just my dexterity, right? So 39 points of psychic damage.
39 as you stepping forward, coming out, and just driving your shadow blade into the back of this thing's knee, which is roughly at your chest height. As you dig it in, you see this ogre or this oni just go, and like immediately he turns and looks at you. You can see his bearded face is just covered in like flecks of food and different like things stuck in his beard, his teeth gnarled, his brow furrowed. He's got that classic like deep furrow brow with the big bushy eyebrows and his horns sticking out of his ratty mess of hair as he turns and looks at you and utters something you don't quite understand. Well done.
Alright, I'll go ahead and roll a second attack with my extra attack. That's a 20 total.
20 hits.
And this is without sneak attack, but still a critical. Uh, 14, 21 plus 4, so another 25 points of psychic damage.
Nice.
Epic. Okay, I
So-
like playing an assassin. Alright, then I will use my bonus action to disengage. Although I'm not sure if a surprised creature can even take a attack of opportunity.
Mhm.
Wait, can they?
So.
They probably can't take a reaction.
Yeah, I don't think they can.
Then never mind. I'll go ahead and make. I'll use Flurry of Blows.
Let me see. I think it's you can't move or take reactions. Can't move or take an action on your first turn of combat, and you can't take a reaction until that turn ends. Okay. Yep. All right.
Okay. Excellent. So yeah, I'll do Flurry of Blows.
Okay.
All right. That is a 25 to hit,
Mm-hmm.
and then. Wait, was that? Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, only a 14 on the second hit.
Yeah. Sorry.
No worries.
As you drive the blade into the back of his knee, he turns, and then you just twist it horribly and pull. No, doesn't leave any wound, but it seems to deeply affect him as his knee starts to buckle. You land one solid punch in the same spot that you'd stabbed, and his knee buckles, and you go to hit it again, but he turns and puts the hard cap of his knee forward, and you hit, and unfortunately your hand just absorbs the impact as he's turning and getting ready to swing on you with his big hooked club.
Okay, so for damage on my one unarmed strike that hit, it is 8 magical bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And
Wham!
then I will go ahead and climb a tree behind me.
Okay.
Jesus.
All right, Yukio, it is now your
I'm
turn.
scared of you.
All right. So yeah, I'm just gonna move up here, and since I have jump on me and I'm hella fast, I'm kind of just gonna flavor it as boing boinging through the trees.
Gotcha.
Um,
You pass Lee on his retreat.
and since Lee went ahead and softened this one up for me, I'll go ahead and just keep attacking it.
All right. You make your way forward, hopping up through the trees. Lee, you climb up into a branch, and you see Yukio hop up on the branch next to you, look at you, and then leap forward. His blade, I imagine, apparating to your hand.
Yeah, well, I would have already had it out because I was banishing smite.
Yep, exactly. Blade in hand, he leaps forward. You can see that similar like double helixing of energy kind of spinning around, and has been kind of rotating, like it goes up and then down the blade, leaving small streamers of light.
So first attack is a 22.
22 hits.
Second attack sometime. This is taking a really long time to roll dice. 24.
Yep, both hit.
And we'll see how these resolve. Right, I can roll damage on here. I don't know why I'm forgetting this. And I'm gonna, if I take a bonus action attack, I'll do the two hands like I've been doing.
Okay.
One hand, two hands.
One hand.
Because I like
Two.
the flavor of it.
It's
Can we roll my
stylish.
dice, please? Probably gonna stop using this. It's just a little bit too slow. So 11 on the first one, plus my banishing smite, since I landed the hit. Just let me go back and hit that button. Okay, so it might be a good idea to go back to.
Hello?
That's a lot of numbers.
Don't worry about it.
What happened?
Okay, so
She rolled 5d100 and roll 20.
much faster than mine. So mine finally finished. 31 damage from banishing smite.
All right, and he needs to make a saving throw or disappear.
I don't think they get a saving throw. I think if they're less than 50 health, they disappear. Is how it works.
Less than 50 health?
Yeah, afterward. Let me.
After the damage resolves or before?
After the damage resolves, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Okay. Additionally, if this attack reduces the target to 50 hit points or fewer, you banish it. If the target is native to a different plane of existence than the one you're on, the target disappears, returning to its home plane. If the target is native to the plane you're on, the creature vanishes into a harmless demiplane. While there, the target is incapacitated, remains there until the spell ends, at which point it reappears in the space it left.
Yeah, after your first strike, as you hit, it just disappears out of existence.
Cool. Okay.
Half the chest slams onto the ground.
Well, the other one is just like seeing this, and then is just still holding the chest as his compatriot disappears, and he
gets shunted into another dimension for a bit. So I cannot move in between my second attack, correct?
I'm pretty sure you can move and attack.
But like, I used my attack action. Thirsting Blade, I wouldn't be able to move and then use the second attack in my attack action.
I believe in 5th edition, your
you're able to.
movement is a pool.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I know that movement is a pool. I just, for some reason, thought you couldn't move in between the two attacks of your
It's because
attack
in
action.
Lancer you can't.
Okay, that's
What?
probably why, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so
That
then
might
the
be why.
24 will go to this guy,
Okay.
since I didn't really expect to immediately just banish that dude.
They have the same AC. So.
I kind of figured.
Yep.
Back over to my weapon. It's gonna deal. Okay, I really thought it would be a great idea because the screen is bigger and it would be easier to navigate, but the speed is definitely an issue. When your device is meant to read books, it turns out web pages are not the greatest thing, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's using the webpage just fine.
I think this one's kind of older too,
Oh, that's
so
fine.
that might be
That's
part
fair.
of it. Okay, so now that I'm up on my thing, did I already see the damage for that?
You did 31 for the first attack.
I don't remember if I rolled the second one or not.
You did not roll the second damage.
Come on. Okay, I'm just gonna say I didn't. That's good. Second damage is 12.
Okay.
Bonus action, I'll swing out another attack. That's a crit.
Nice.
On the two-hander, which is appropriate. And that's another 17 damage. I like that it auto-rolls 2 dice when you crit.
Very nice.
That's a very nice touch, D&D Beyond. And, let's see, that's... I was here...
Said 17 damage.
To here. I did say 17 damage,
Cool.
yes. So that's 35, so I've got plenty of...
All right. As you bounding forward, your first strike, as you just you basically flip the blade around to that strange backhanded grip, and as you slide forward, you just kind of rocket forward and dashing past it, striking along the leg, cutting a deep wound across its knee, and the creature as it's turned and facing. You strike, and then the magic spins up around him. The 2 orbs of glowing, kind of faintly purple light spin up around him, and he just fades out of existence. Continuing forward, grabbing onto the handle proper, you swing hard, cutting, and then a strong 2-handed strike downwards, slashing into the companion and the other Oni, and then quickly dashing backwards. Is that your turn?
Yes, that's my turn.
All right, Cirrus.
Sweet.
Now your turn.
All right. Make it all the way over there.
Can you?
I don't think I can.
What's your
I
movement
think you
speed?
can make it exactly adjacent to him, actually.
Can I?
Yeah, 50 feet. You could.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I was curious about. Thank you. Gross. That is my exact walking speed.
As you begin dashing forward, just full sprint, like white chain, just that like.
Yeah. Alrighty, I'm just gonna give it the old bonk with the stick.
The old bonk with a stick, ancient order of Shaolin monks,
Yeah.
secret technique.
I love.
All right. Okay, 15.
15 unfortunately does not hit. It's ready for you as you rush forward, swinging your staff forward. It it takes the chest and just swings at you, kind of knocking your strike wide.
Oof. Okay. Well, a second attack roll here. Alrighty. Then.
19 will hit.
All right. Cool. The damage. This is
Fuck him up. Out of character.
Kick his ass!
Yeah, so 11 there, and then I'm gonna expend a point of key to do a flurry of blows against him.
All right. As the first swipe, your first strike is kind of swung wide, you just use the momentum coming back around, cracking him across the same leg that he keeps getting struck on. And then go ahead and flurry.
Oof. Oof, I say.
Unfortunately, your first strike is you go forward to haul off and punch. It brings the chest quickly in front, and you hit the chest instead. You're like, God, shit.
All hail.
Can I roll damage against the chest?
Sure.
Okay.
Just punch open an iron-bound chest like
There
a
we
total
go.
badass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do it.
Dragon Age that shit open.
All right.
Be careful not
So
to
6
turn it into
damage.
rubbish.
Yeah.
As you hit, you hear a faint crack in the wood, but beyond that,
Nothing
nothing.
too much. Okay, that is my turn.
If you spent the key, you got another attack.
So I spent key to use my flurry of blows.
Yep, which means you get 2 flurry, basically 2 attacks. So
Oh, that's right. That's
Yep.
right.
Yeah, you can do 1 for free without a key point.
I haven't played a monk this edition yet. I need to. I need to
Oh,
play a
there we
monk.
go.
yep, that hits.
Nice.
Well, you're just
Monks
in luck
have
because I
secret
remade the
footing.
Kensei monk. It's so much better.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 6
All right.
again.
6 more points of damage. This time, you hit that, and you're like, and then you just kind of haul off and get a square kick right at the thing's ankle, and you hear a satisfying crunch.
Nice. Okay, cool. That will be my turn.
You're not gonna do any of your open fist or open hand techniques.
I'm gonna save those just because there's only one of them, and I feel like pretty comfortable we can probably kill this thing.
I don't think they cost anything, right?
They do cost key.
Oh, maybe.
So yeah, probably.
Yeah, all the open hand stuff is Oh no, you're right. They don't.
Yeah,
cost
you just get to do them with your flurry of blows hits.
That's right.
Oh.
Okay. I was thinking stunning strike, which is
Mhm.
not open.
That is a key-based thing, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm gonna attempt to fall prone if it fails a dex saving throw. So it's a DC 15 of dex.
DC 15 dex save or fall prone.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, nicely done. As you hear that, like, you're frustrated and you get off that good kick and you hear that satisfying crack, you lean into it and you actually use your foot as like a hook, and you miraculously, this creature's taken enough hits to its one leg that got presented that you feel its foot slide on the ground, and you just twist as hard as you can and dislodge its foot, and it falls backwards onto its hefty behind.
Dope. Do the trees shake around it? Like...
Yeah, there's a resounding as the trees, like the ground, shakes.
Epic.
And we're just absolutely routing these guys, aren't we?
Yeah.
Doing a pretty good job. All right. Is that going to be the end of your turn?
I believe so.
Okay. Ray, it is now your turn.
Right, so she'll move about here. And then cast Toll the Dead.
Okay.
Wisdom saving throw. 16.
Fails.
Okay.
Toll that dead.
Right. Take Take 18 points of damage.
Nice. All right. Anything else?
No. I mean, Ray's learning from you, apparently.
Oh?
Don't you have Toll the Dead? I think that's a you thing.
Yeah, I do have it.
Yeah. There you go.
Tiny little out of character teardrop. So proud.
Starting to emulate the strong adult female presence that isn't the punch him in the mouth variety. All right.
All right, moving along.
Zabas.
I love.
Oh man, finally my turn. Alright. I think I can just barely reach that guy because I got my nice little, yeah, I can get right there. My movement speed is still increased to 50. Is this guy laying prone right now?
Yes, he is currently laying prone.
Okay, so I guess that means, do I get advantage on an attack roll against him?
Melee attacks, yes.
Alright, I will do a melee attack against this guy right here. Even though my arm is currently occupied by a cat.
Never stopped any adventurer.
Um, 27 to hit.
27 to hit. All right.
Yeah.
That'll hit.
Okay, well, let me see if I crit. No, I didn't. Okay, that's fine. All right. So I'm just attacking it with my flame tongue longsword.
Mhm.
Can I use a bonus action to light my sword and then hit, or do I?
Yeah, you would have to do
forgot
that.
To do that. Okay. So I'll have my bonus action to light my sword. Now I attack with my sword.
Yep.
So that is. So it's lit. 2, 6, plus that's 9. 9 like flame slashing damage, or yeah.
Physical damage.
Wait, hold on.
Longsword to be a
sorry.
D8.
That was that's the longsword to D8. That was just the 9 was flaming damage, and
Okay.
now I need to use my D8. I forgot. I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound like enough damage. So sorry. So take that back. It was 5 flaming damage because I added my proficiency bonus like a dummy. So it was 5 flame damage plus 9 slashing damage. That was my first attack.
14. All right.
Yeah. Okay, now I will do my extra attack. 2 dice this time. 25 to hit.
Yep.
Alright, 25 to hit. Now let's do this correctly this time. I'll go ahead and roll my d8 first. Oh, that's 8. Nice. So that's 12 slashing damage.
Mhm.
And that is 6 fire damage.
Okay.
And then, how is this guy looking on the ground?
Not great. He's probably bloodied.
Okay. I might go ahead. Let's throw in a smite too.
Okay.
Just for funsies. Does it count as a demon? I don't know if radiant. I'll do a 2nd level smite, which will be, that's 3d8. Actually, I'm just gonna roll it in 120. That's a lot of math for me. Then that's 17 radiant damage with a smite to top it all off.
17 radiant damage. All right.
Very good.
Very good. Very good. Very
I'll,
good.
Get a
Good
few
opening.
solid hits on this guy, and that will be my turn.
Ark, kind of bringing up the rear of your party, just kind of cups both hands around his face and goes, "We could have tried talking to them."
Oh yes, definitely.
And that'll be his turn. As this ogre is just, or this Oni, I should say, is just, he's surprised. He can't really do anything. He's just barely been able to defend himself as best as he can. The other Oni is floating in the ether and has no idea what's going on. May, it is now your turn.
Okay. Eyes downcast. Ark's words have kind of like rung in my head. I'll just go, you shoot. Ark might have been right. I don't want to add to the hurt. I'll use Ray of Enfeeblement
Okay.
on the one that's present.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
As a note, I believe ranged attacks have disadvantage against a prone enemy.
Damn it.
Makes sense.
I always forget that. That's okay. Okay. Well, that's fine. It would have been a crit, but it's not that kind of spell. It'll be 22.
22 hits.
Nice.
Don't forget that there's carnage about here.
Yeah, like
That the Oni wrought upon an unsuspecting group of travelers.
Hold on. Now, wait.
You never
What?
know. Maybe it was the horse who is a demon?
Could
This
be.
could be like life-saving medicine in this chest for an Oni village, and these could be brigands that jump them.
Regardless. Yeah, a 22, so I don't do any damage, but now the Oni only deals half damage with weapon attacks that use strength until I stop concentrating on it, up to a minute.
Gotcha.
Nice, I dig it.
Yeah, that will be my turn. So I didn't hurt it, but I made it hurt us less if it ever gets a chance to attack us. Okay.
Oh, now it's way more clear.
Just to make it clear,
They don't seem like friends to me personally.
There's such a thing as giving too much benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Just my professional opinion.
It's like, oh, you know, blood-stained giants in the middle of a fuck ton of carnage. Yeah, they're totally innocent.
Yeah. My favorite thing about monsters in D&D is, sure, you can talk to very, very many of them. There is no guarantee that they want to talk to you.
On second thought, maybe Ark wasn't right. Well,
Hey?
not gonna have that happen to us. And then I'll cast my Rave of Enfeeblement.
Yep.
So.
Some big burly boys, so Ray of Enfeeblement is valuable in either case. Schrodinger be damned.
Quantum bugbears, y'all.
Alright. Lee, it is now your turn.
Okay. Well, I mean, technically 3 in initiative order. Does anyone else want to go before me?
Nah.
Okay.
No, I'm content to let you go forward.
Sounds good.
I thought after you've deferred, you're locked in, or did that change?
That's typically how I roll is. But they all have like the same initiative and they all probably have about the same dexterity, so realistically they probably are all going to be going at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are right, though. Like, my initiative does not go back to the 19 it was, for sure.
Alright, Shadow Blade Strike.
Okay.
Just confirming we still have advantage because he's prone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 26.
Yep, that'll do it.
And then I'll go ahead and roll sneak attack for this.
I will save you the rolls as you kind of step forward, bringing the Shadow Blade around, flipping it, basically letting it kind of extend long. You just plunge it straight down into the center of this thing, and it jerks really hard and then just lies limp.
Cool. Give it a little twist for good measure.
Dead.
Right on.
So, how long until that banishment wears off?
Until I drop my concentration, or roughly
Alright.
50 seconds.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Can I drop my concentration off my turn? I can't, right?
Yeah, we will say, like, is there anything anybody wants to do while we make our way around, or...
Well, because it's my turn next, so I
Yeah.
can drop my concentration next turn.
Yeah.
Just making sure I couldn't do it off of my turn.
Yeah, you can't do it off of your turn.
Could also wait a minute for everyone to get in any position they want to be in.
True, true.
Yep.
He is, I assume, pretty heavily wounded, though, and surrounded by our 4 pretty potent melee fighters, so...
Mm-hmm.
True.
Ain't wrong.
We'll say probably however this resolves, he also only has 7 hit points.
Yeah, I figured he'd be pretty low. So yeah, I'm gonna do an acrobatic pirouette off this tree,
Okay.
dismiss my concentration while I'm midair, and just bring my sword down on him.
Okay. As he pops back in, he appears, landing kind of on top of Zavis and Cirrus.
Ooh.
Well,
he-
no, because he lands in the nearest unoccupied space.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he would move in between right there.
So as he blinks back into existence, as
He
you've
gets a
already
big nasty surprise.
hopping off the tree.
Big and nasty.
And I'll roll it, but I have advantage, and my first roll was a 20.
That's not a hug you want to pop into. Correct.
Yeah, no. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, 20 hits, I assume.
Yep,
And he
20 does
was
hit.
Put. My minimum damage is 7, so 10.
Yep.
From the first.
Dealt with handily as you make your way over to the tree. You kind of jump up onto it, releasing your concentration as you turn, he reappears, kind of back standing where he was, a very perplexed look on his face, and he doesn't have time to blink as you dart across and just sword across the neck. He falls to the ground.
Cool. Works for me.
The chest has already just kind of clattered and fallen to one side.
Is it locked?
You can go ahead and check.
I assume there's like nothing in the immediate area that looks to be any remaining threat.
Not that you can
Out of
see.
Initiative order.
We will say initiative is probably dealt with at this point.
Okay.
Okay. Point of order.
Yes.
It seems to be the general consensus with rules as written. You can drop at any time, on or off your turn, no action or reaction acquired.
Okay.
Required.
Cool.
We'll run with that from now on.
Just as an FYI.
Nope,
of course.
it makes perfect sense. Alright. As you guys have...
So while Lee is investigating the chest, I want to kind of look over the scene to see if we can find any indication of maybe where these people came from, where they were going, you know.
Oh yeah, do a little sleuthing around the carnage.
Yep, I will get an investigation check from Lee and an investigation check from Yukio. And Ray, what's up?
Ray was going to do an investigation check and then essentially cling to Sirius's leg.
Okay.
Yeah, follow along. I can't investigate for anything, but I'll let you do the work and I'll watch out for you.
Okay.
I got a 15.
Okay.
19 investigating the chest.
Okay. The chest is locked.
We'll start working on the lock, of course.
Yeah. 15 indicates that these people, to the best of your understanding, they seemed to be a merchant. You recognize of the 6 individuals, one of them is just wearing simple traveler's robes, nicer, some sort of merchant, and then the other 5 were guards, hired bodyguards that were deftly handled.
Yeah.
Some good those bodyguards did.
You got Ray?
26.
26. And you were investigating what? Remind me?
So she was going to go out. She's probably going to just do the scene. She's not too terribly interested in the chest.
Gotcha. In looking around, as you begin to understand, these are this looks like a merchant. Their garb is reminiscent of Nakhon province, so they seem to be local. The guards were all decently well equipped, each of them with sort of like a chain coat, or just kind of some basic armor. They just had spears.
If there's nothing unusual, you can just say so.
There's really nothing unusual about this. It just seems to be a merchant's wagon that got unfortunately targeted by some Oni that have been living in the area. Beyond that, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry.
Ray's just gonna shrug and then continue to stay exactly beside Cirrus.
So she discerned without a doubt that these Oni were definitely fucking up this caravan.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. There's
If anybody asks Ray, she'll tell them that, but she doesn't find any need. It's obvious. You all can see that, right?
Yeah.
It seems pretty obvious to me, yeah.
all right.
If anybody questions it, like Ark or anything, she'll like look at them like they're completely stupid and be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
What actually is your problem, sir?
Yes, Zavis?
Just for it to be kind of neat, I'm gonna go pop out some of the teeth on the Oni and cut off some horns just to keep as souvenirs.
All right. May, were you doing anything?
There's always one.
Yeah. You said the bodies are pretty horribly butchered, right?
They weren't butchered. Most of these men were killed with a single blow. So they're
Oh,
they most
the horse
their rib cages have been turned to mashed potatoes.
Yuck. And the horse was like alive while we walked up, right?
No, the horses were
No.
very dead.
Oh, very dead? Just kidding.
Very
Okay.
dead.
Okay. I'm not gonna do anything here. I will do my usual kind of like funeral rites, but I'm just gonna do it on the horse. It was lamentable for this poor creature to get trapped in these, well, other matters. It didn't ask for this. This whole situation is sad, but the horse didn't have any part here.
So,
And you don't know that.
are you
It's just
saying
the
that out
oracle.
loud?
Yeah, muttering to myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Ray's going to audibly scoff at you.
May, you can see one of your little kodamas has a little like spectral stick, and it's just like lightly tapping the side of the horse.
I love it. It's adorable.
That's so cute.
It's definitely a blessing, and it's certainly not a beating a dead horse joke.
It's definitely a beating a dead horse joke.
So, don't look at me. Kidding. Yes. As you've been surveying the scene and collecting some teeth and horns, Lee, you do eventually go ahead and get that chest open. I take it you rolled a. Or
I have not rolled yet. I was waiting for your command.
yes, please do roll. I appreciate it. Good man. Good man. This one.
Okay. It's pretty good. I think. Oh, I get a plus 12 on Thieves' Tools. Okay, so 26.
26 without too much difficulty. And this chest was being palmed by these ogres, but it's kind of like they were palming a basketball. This chest is roughly the size of you. It's pretty big.
Mhm.
Good lord.
And as you crack it open and get it lifted, you see immediately that it is filled with iron bars,
Okay.
which, Cirrus, as you see this, you look down and you realize your hand is throbbing. You punched an iron chest full of or rather, not iron bars, but like steel bars, essentially.
Oh no.
Okay.
Ingots, big ingots of steel, possibly to be used for smithing weapons. At a glance, although you're no metallurgist, these look to be very fine quality, so this seems to be very fine steel.
This is fine steel. We could probably fetch a good price for this in our next town.
Now we could throw it on the cart.
I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, who can pick up?
Yeah.
This chest is probably about 400 pounds.
Zombies can do that.
I can pick up 400 pounds. I'm like,
What is your maximum?
like-
What is your maximum lift and carry?
I don't know. How do you figure that out?
Your strength, primarily. So your maximum, it's a multiplier times your strength score. I think it's
Okay.
10 by your strength score?
10 or
It's either 10 or
15.
15.
It's your strength score multiplied by 15.
I can pick
I forgot if they made it 10 to make the math easy, or if they made
no,
it
I
15 to
can't.
make it sensible.
up. Okay, bodybuilders can lift up. I can lift up.
Drag adds like a multiplier of like times 2 on that.
Yeah, no, even at 20 strength, you couldn't lift that.
Okay, well I
Yeah.
can drag it.
We're gonna have to hoist it or make a ramp or something.
Well,
The
I can
only
lift-
reason I know this is because a bunch of my players, like earlier this week,
Mhm.
wanted to carry a chest full of, like, a giant 4x4x4 chest full of fucking gold, and I'm like,
Maybe no.
Good
Someone
luck.
Help me pick this up.
Right.
Don't look at
I
me.
can carry 270 pounds just on my own, so.
Anybody else would like to assist?
I mean, yeah,
It's
But we got to get it on the warhorse. Is the
I'd have to.
or I mean maybe that's
I guess
quite a
I
lot
could-
of weight to
can I-
pile onto the back of a horse.
Yeah, I don't want to break. I mean, it's a spiritual horse, so.
The spiritual horses.
I mean, if you can get it into the wagon, it will slow your progress, but you can get it. You have 2 full-sized horses that are moving the cart. So
I can hitch up my horse to it too.
So yeah, what's your? You said 270.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the
Even
chest
if I
and go,
help, I literally could not add enough strength. My carrying capacity is only 120 pounds.
Right.
So that'd be 390.
390, yeah.
Be 10 pounds.
So yeah, Yukio's not even gonna bother. He's just gonna
Okay.
wait for somebody more suited to the task.
Airgen have levitate ability, and I can levitate something that's up to 500 pounds.
Ha!
Yeah, there you go.
So
I was
Lord.
hoping somebody
Just
would
see me
have
trying
something.
to pick it up, and then you just
Yeah.
levitate.
Yeah, seeing Zavis like grab either side of the sizable chest and kind of, he's like, and just starts like lifting. You can see like the veins like popping in his neck, and then you hear that distinctive, and he, oh,
I can deadlift it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the dead. You do that, and then Cirrus kind of walks over and just kind of taps the top of it with her staff, and it as soon as she does it, yes, Ray.
It's cheating.
So yeah, when Cirrus does that, Ray's going to reach up, like grab her shoulder, pull her down, and go, just let them suffer.
Oh, okay. Deactivates levitate on top of Zavas.
Oh
No.
As Zavis, as you go to turn and like bring it around, suddenly it's 400 pounds again.
And just
probably.
whomp into the
Yeah.
dirt.
It like just kind of buries the front end, the butt end of it into the dirt, and you're just like,
Really? Do you want this carried to the cart or not?
Yeah.
You can take care of it then, and I'll just scoff and walk away.
Okay.
no.
I just noticed that the times 15 multiplier is your carry weight. You can actually lift twice that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can lift it. I just can't carry it.
yeah,
You can't carry it comfortably.
yeah.
Yeah.
So as you
Waddle your way over.
square yourself around and
So I can literally just.
yeah, it like got really heavy, and you're just like, oh god damn it. Walk it
Stick
forward
in
and
the cart.
boom, drop it in the cart.
There. I'm not gonna be fucking defeated by a box of bars. My ass is gonna waddle it over there.
Yeah, as
Hell
you
yeah.
carry it over and get it onto the cart. Hachi's brought the cart up, and it's just like, oh boy, that's not good. But dealt with handily, it seems. Now to just navigate the horse around the other dead, and the horses kind of like toss their heads a bit, and he's like, "It's okay. I hope it wasn't a relation." Anyways, we should probably keep going.
Hachi, do you want me to hitch up my warhorse to the cart, or can these two handle it?
Oh, they'll be fine. We'll be slowed a little bit, but not too much. They're sturdy stock as he leans forward and stretches his short little arm out to like try and pat the rump of the horse and not quite make it. And he's like, fuck it.
Unless May stops me, I want to search the bodies for any loot.
Oh, go ahead.
In digging around, you see that there are 5 spears. The armor is of average quality, so nothing terribly exciting. Unless you wanted to collect them, they'd just be like chain shirt would be the armor. In looking around, you collect just a handful of coins from them. Nothing super exciting. The one merchant did have a purse with about 50 gold in it, so you did get a 50 gold purse out of it.
Nice.
But other than that, really nothing of note.
All right, so and the loose coins, what do you think they'd come to?
We'll say 7 gold.
Okay.
All right.
I will pocket all of that. Unless someone wants their share, they'd have to speak up.
No.
No.
Ray does not give a shit.
Yeah, Ray. That's literally chump change.
Yeah. All right. As you guys gather yourselves up and begin heading along your way again, the remainder of your day, your travel is fairly easy. Again, good weather, and eventually the smell of blood does fade. Your second day of bedding down, yes, Ray.
Yeah, so for the second day of bedding down, since we had a combat, Ray will offer to summon up the Tantrum Tower
Mhm.
if we're not, like, trying to be too incognito. And you can have, like, a spa and comfortable bed.
All right.
I mean, I won't say no.
Up the tower goes, some baths, some spying. Hachi very excited in his fundoshi, with a little towel around his neck.
I'll slap him on the back and be like, "Yeah, let's go to the spa."
I'll wash your back for you, sir.
Anyone
Yeah.
else joining us?
No. Ray's spending the entire evening up in the observatory.
I'm gonna look at the other bros in our crew. You guys joining me?
Sorry, it was hot springs, right? Basically, like a bath.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a bath on the bottom floor, and then you got beds, and then a study, and then observatory.
Yeah, I'll get in the bath. Why not?
Yeah, same.
Well,
Okay.
before the party all splits up, I just wanted to address everyone and say I'm not sure if we should make a consistent habit of summoning this tower. I mean, the last time we summoned it was right next to the burial site of one of those Imperial agents, and if they sent a scout back to check out the scene, they could have easily spotted the tower from a distance, and it'd be an easy way to track us in the wilderness.
If they come
excellent.
bother us, I'll kill them.
That's a point I had not thought of.
Yeah. How tall is this tower again?
4 stories.
4 stories.
Ah, okay. So
I guess
It
this
definitely
is
sticks out above the tree line.
yeah.
How common are observatories around here?
Where you're at? Not at all.
I mean, we're in like country, basically.
You're in-
It's not at all inconspicuous. That's why I prefaced it with if we're not interested in being sneaky.
Well, you all know now that I'm a wanted man. Well, a wanted person.
Creature.
Yeah. And our quest here is sort of important. I don't think we should draw too many eyes. We should take the path of least resistance on our road because we're gonna run into resistance whether we want it or not.
That is true. And
Right? Oh, go ahead.
sorry. Frankly, I know you're a wanted man and you killed someone who you can't tell us about, but at least some part of me assumes that if all of us are chosen to go on this, I mean, it's supposedly a great journey to save everyone, we must be all pretty okay.
Ray's eye visibly twitches as you say this.
The architect goes, I'm wonderful. I don't know about the rest of you.
Yes, we know.
Good, you're learning.
Ray will then address Lee and just go, I'll only offer it after we've had difficulties from now on.
Appreciated.
All right, as you guys bed down, we will call break here and give everybody a chance to go to the bathroom and get drinks and whatnot. We'll be back in about
Good.
10 minutes.
Cool. Kyler, are you good with 15?
15, yes. 15 minutes. We'll be back.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you soon. Hi, we're back. Excellent. That picture for architect just makes me so happy.
It's very appropriate.
It is. It's.
It gives me sleep paralysis.
Yep. All right. So your second evening of rest after defeating the Oni on the road. Road Oni. Roni. Sleeping in your tall pagoda tower. The night passes without any sort of incident, and day breaks. You guys gather yourselves and continue on for your third day of travel. Today is the day that you are supposed to be able to make it to Lake, Hatsu Village near Lake Kuzu. So, as you guys are traveling, the weather is again pleasant. It's another fine spring day. It seemed to have rained a little bit in the night, so everything is covered with the fresh, wet dew. But the road is not too muddy, and you make good time with your new chest of steel ingots and a little bit pocket full of gold. You make your way, eventually heading to a more flattened expanse. As you start to make your way down, you eventually see a series of raised bridges. As you see, it becomes a little bit marshy around here in parts. You kind of are looking down. You see there's a bunch of kind of gorgeous white flowers that seem to cover and surround the landscape, all sticking out amongst the faintly, foot to foot and a half deep kind of standing water. These wooden walkways making their way to what you can see in the distance amongst these various trees, an actual village proper. And then beyond that, you see the glittering surface of a fairly decent-sized lake. Hachi excitedly points out, yes, Hatsu Village, right on the banks of Lake Kuzu. Well, we've made it here in one piece.
Hachi, do you know if there is a like a smith or some kind of metalworking facility within this village?
Not to my knowledge. This place is actually it's actually considered a holy place. The lake is considered a holy spot, funnily enough.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Yukio?
Well,
I meant to ask earlier, was it obvious from the placement of like the carriages and the horse bodies which direction they were traveling? Like if we were coming from the same direction, or?
It looked like they were coming from the direction that the direction you guys were going. So like you would have met and crossed paths. But as your second day of travel, there were several turnoffs and roads that led to different ways, so they could have come from anywhere.
Yeah, and since there's not a smith here, I was just like wondering, are we gonna try and sell these bars back to the town that sent them out?
I mean, that might still happen, but
it might still happen. Yeah, I was just, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't know for sure. And Hachi continues to speak. No, Lake Kuzu is considered a holy place. It is currently watched over by a priestess, I believe, an older gnome woman. The lake was considered a blessed place, and washing yourselves in the waters is supposed to, bring you good luck. It's a good place. In fact, it was considered so holy that a monk was buried alive here as a rite or ritual. The monk's name was Sayonji. He blessed this place by allowing himself to be buried here alive next to the bank, and his spirit protects the lake and brings good luck to travelers.
Sorry, I'm just noting that real quick.
Well, on we go then, as he kicks the horses forward as you guys make your way. Eventually, most of these, there is a specific walkway that is broad enough. It's essentially a bridge. Kitty. It's a broad enough bridge that you're able to carry the cart onto, but it does creak under the weight of the carriage and the horses. So you're just kind of treated to this light and the clopping of hooves on wood, kind of a strange echoey sound.
Have I heard of this Sionji and what order they may have come from?
You don't know in what order they came from. You've heard some stories of Sionji, simply that he was a very renowned monk, and a devotee to the ascetic ways, and was considered to have great power, and chose to spend his final days next to Lake Kuzu. Supposedly he had bathed in Lake Kuzu as a youth, and it had brought him great luck and success through life, and he, as such, wanted to protect the place, and so he allowed himself to be essentially entombed alive, and then people would like to believe he became one of those sacred mummies, essentially an embodiment of goodness that continues to exist beneath the ground, deep in meditation. And actually, as you guys are traveling along, you see, moving in and amongst the water, you notice that there are several rice beds that are set up around, kind of in neat little patches amongst these white flowers. And you see several small, green-skinned individuals with shells on their backs. And as they are dipping down under the water, you see them pulling up muck and collecting small crustaceans like crawdads or something similar. And as they stand up, there seems to be a divot in the tops of their heads. They turn, they have kind of a blunted beak-like face, and the water often collects and gathers in their heads, occasionally sitting up and having some debris of some kind. You recognize these as Kappa. Small reptilian people who inhabit watery areas. They are one of the races that is unique to Tairiku, along with, obviously, the Tanuki Hachi. As they are gathering, some of them are dressed in just simple farmer's garb, pants pulled up high or just simple robes, sleeves rolled up, as they are, collecting different animals and collecting different bits of plant life. You see a couple of them gathering clippings from a couple of different kinds of flowers, just kind of moving about and doing their own business. Some of them kind of sit up and wave at you, and a couple call out in the common tongue, "Ahoy, travelers! Hello!" But all in all, a pleasant and idyllic scene. As you guys continue on in, eventually you make it to the town proper. There is a portion of this area that surrounds the actual lake itself that is dry. And the village is built atop that flat, dry expanse that kind of is sort of crescent moon shaped. And there are probably 24 buildings in total. It's not a very big village, but several different buildings and a number of people milling about. Primarily Kappa, with several gnomes kind of wandering in and about, a couple of humans, a couple of elves, not a whole lot else, but, small variety of people. Many of them are dressed in what would be considered religious garb, stuff not too dissimilar to May, what she wears outside of her armor, as these people are going around. I will point out, May, to your eyes and your eyes alone, you see a number of water spirits and tree spirits and other such just faint entities that barely have shape or form, happily drifting in and about, playing amongst the water and following these various people around. A few of them even in sea are turned to and addressed by a couple of the Kappa, and they seem to bow and mutter something you imagine as a prayer. And these small spirits seem delighted and happy, and this place is alive with energy. Far more active than most other places that you've been.
Oh, okay.
And as you guys approach the actual lake, the bank of the lake itself, in looking at the waters of the lake, it strikes you as odd. It's about midday now, just after midday, and you'd expect
Someone.
Ooh, that's a grumpy kitty.
Doesn't kind of look super concerned.
She's growling at the dog.
How do I get rid of this fucking...
Oh my.
Merlin, she's okay. She would have had her face right by the mic, too.
I need to get rid of this weird person in my chat.
Oh, I got it.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm not watching chat.
That's all right. But as you look at... Thank you. As you look at the surface of the water, a strange notion strikes several of you as you look, and you can't see through it. It's reflective and constantly rippling. You know, like as you know, any sort of body of water at sunset, you see those just streaks of just pure light that you can't pierce through. Your eyes do not see through. That is like this, but the entire lake, as far as you can see. It ripples, and you can see little snippets under the water itself, but it is brilliant and reflecting light. The whole area seems bright because of it. It can almost be hard to look at a little bit. Your eyes do adjust to just the saturation, but it gives the whole place kind of a warm glow. It strikes you as very strange. In and amongst moving around these people, you see one Kappa, significantly older, heavier, kind of broadly built. He has a fairly important looking set of robes and seems to be engaged in a conversation with 3 or 4 other Kappa as he stands on these very tall kind of woods, like the wood slat shoes, standing fairly tall on that, kind of looking awkwardly... You know the priest in Princess Mononoke? How he's all like kind of round, but he's got those super tall shoes? It's kind of that imagery. It's just kind of a very round Kappa on these pointy little stick shoes, basically, as he waddles over, not towards you guys, but he seems to be engaged in conversation. He's got a unique hat that kind of frames his little bowl-shaped head, and it sticks kind of up off the back of his head and has some unique stitching and whatnot into it.
I look over to Ark and say, "Don't even think about it."
Ark is already like starting to make. Oh, that's okay. I like my hat. But what if I just offered a trade? Yeah, it's okay. All right. Hachi goes, well, I don't really know what we're supposed to do now. Any sixth sense? Great heroes? Some intuition? Yes, Ray?
I had an idea, but go ahead.
Oh, please, Yukio.
Okay, Yukio.
Oh, I was wondering if we might get an audience with, it was a priestess, correct? That currently...
Indeed, there was a
Yeah,
priestess.
the priestess might have an idea of where the piece is.
Or at the very least, any, a demon activity or yokai activity, sorry, that might be spurred on by its existence. Sorry, I'm phrasing that really poorly, but...
Hachi goes, I believe she has a small temple on the far side here. Sure, let's move along then. As he begins taking you along, you notice that there are a lot of short folk around here. A lot of gnomes and a lot of kappa. And as you eventually make your way, you see a building that is a proper shrine. Not very large, but... Sorry, were you saying something, May?
No.
Okay.
We're just laughing about being tall people.
You see a proper temple. Not very big at all, by any means, but decently well appointed. You notice several strips of prayer paper that have been hung up, and some unique statues that have been carved or shaped out of stone and wood that are arrayed all around the building. This immediately gives you, May, a sense that this place is sacred and you immediately get warm feelings about this. And you see, attending to a small garden, kind of past the gate and amidst the wall, or in the walls of the temple itself, you see just the tiniest old bent over woman of a gnome wearing simple red and white robes in a classic priestess attire. Her hair kind of brought back and tied, her face lined with age. But she diligently is in the midst of replanting some sort of flower. Her hair is just mostly gray, with just the faintest bit of like brown to it, as she diligently works at it. And you notice a couple of other Kappa and gnome children are kind of gathered around her and kind of all squatting down and listening to her. She seems to be talking in a very low voice, perhaps discussing the plant itself or something else.
Okay. Can I tell if like the spiritual energy that I'm kind of feeling around this place is radiating from her, or
Make an insight check. 17. You gather that it's not specifically her that's giving off any kind of like, she's not giving off the radiant like holy aura that this whole place gives off, but she certainly has her own sense of aura about her.
Okay. I'll point her out and just go, I think that small woman over there might have the answers we're looking for, or at least a direction. Maybe someone with a little more experience speaking to people, though, should address her.
I figured you'd
Someone
be able
with-
to relate one priest to another, but I understand.
There's this thing that I've heard talked about, charisma. I don't have much of that.
If no one else steps forward, then Yukio will go ahead and.
All right.
I mean,
volunteer.
you seem charming enough to me, but I understand.
Oh, thank you. That's a relief.
All right.
Yukio will approach the group
Mhm.
and kind of wait for himself to be noticed.
As you kind of come up and you see the older priestess is telling these children about this plant and its medicinal properties. Her voice is kind of raspy and heavy with age. She distinctly sounds like the kind of person that enjoys a good pipe of tobacco and has for many years. But as she finishes her conversation, she catches the group of you out of the corner of her eye and turns and looks up at you and goes, "Ah, well, I did not realize I was to have visitors at my temple." And she stands up slowly, still kind of hunched over, a very old gnome, as she puts her hands behind her back as she turns and looks over at you guys and gives you a respectable bow. And goes,
I'll bow in turn.
"I am Lady Sujime."
Greetings, ma'am. I am Yukio.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, we are on a rather important quest, and pardon my directness. We're searching for the Pieces of Orochi. Would you happen to know anything of them?
Orochi, the demon dragon, yes?
Correct.
Well, as the legend goes, the first emperor divided Orochi into 8 pieces after defeating him, sealing each of the pieces in a secret place in each of the provinces. I mean, many of us know the story. I do not know if I'm going to be much help here. This place is a sacred landscape, protected by the spirit of the monk Saionji. I don't know. I've detected no such scent of demon, not around here, and I've been here many years.
We've been given reason to believe that one of the pieces of Orochi resides in or around Lake Kuzu. You haven't noticed anything that would indicate this, you said?
Nothing really. The lake is fairly deep and deceptively large. And admittedly, there's fishing that's done on the lake, but the fishermen cannot see below the surface. It is a strange effect of the blessings of the water. But I'm sure if you're capable, you could certainly check in the lake. But I promise you, there's nothing around. At least not that I found. No secrets to be had, as far as I can tell. But I mean, you seem capable. I'm sure you could look around. Why must you find these pieces of Orochi?
She said, why were we seeking the pieces of Orochi?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to keep a long story short, Orochi is on the verge of returning, and we aim to stop that.
Oh, that's... Yes, Ray.
Since she's assuming that nobody is going to fucking believe anything that anybody says, she'll go grab the spear off of Zavis and like toss it toward the priestess, unrolling it from the bindings.
As you toss the thing forward, as it kind of lands on the ground and unfolds, kind of at her feet, she looks down and goes.
I will say in character.
She looks down and quite surprised, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the seven-branch spear, is it not?
Indeed, it is.
Oh, and she kind of
pick up.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I'll pick it up so it's not like thrown on the ground.
She looks at it reverently
and hold it out.
She looks at it reverently and says a small prayer, kind of clasping her hands in front of herself, looping a set of beads over her fingers. She says a quick prayer. And you must be blessed then to carry such an item and an artifact of great importance. I am surprised. I thought the artifact lost.
Well, we sort of got it from Ieyasu.
Oh, sure. Of course you did.
Yes, I understand how it sounds.
Well,
I'll just kind of nod my head toward the spear.
If you give me a moment, as she kind of steps forward and her hands move in a quick series of seals, there's kind of a quick dance of not arcane, but a quick dance of kind of silvery white light that kind of moves in an interesting pattern, traces from her hand forward along the spear and then back. She goes, well, there is no denying that that's the genuine article. Those who carry the spear are considered blessed and welcome. My temple is not much, but it is yours to use as needed.
I was wondering... Yes, thank you. I'll walk up and bow, I suppose, just to... as a formality. I was wondering, is there any way to commune directly with the spirit of the monk, Saionji?
There is a way. I believe I could do so.
Perhaps he would have insights on this matter.
Perhaps.
Being the guardian of the lake.
as she kind of thinks it over and her eyes scan the lot of you, she notices May and says, are you also one who practices?
Oh, yeah.
You seem to be blessed by many Kodama.
I mean, I didn't know you could see them. It makes sense.
Oh, these old eyes see a
only-
lot. If you are willing to help, we may be able to speak with the spirit of Saionji rather easily.
Mm-hmm. Me and my little friends here would be super willing to help.
Well, I don't see any point in hesitating. Come, there's a monument, a shrine to him, right over by the edge of the lake. And she kind of walks over to a small, like, covered porch nearby one of the entrances to the buildings, reaches over and grabs a small gnarled staff from behind it, more a walking stick than anything, and begins trudging forward slowly with it. She does not move quickly. So, takes you a few minutes as she wanders out. You notice a small crowd of the various denizens. Your presence was noticed as you entered this area, though people are used to travelers around here, considering the sacred lake that they live right next to. But seeing their priestess escorting this group has certainly drawn attention. A small crowd is kind of following along you guys. A number of Kappa. The finely dressed Kappa that you saw earlier makes his way forward and he goes, Lady Sujime, where are you going? She goes, I'm going to the shrine. Don't bother me. And she begins moving forward, and he just kind of is confused and follows along. You guys travel just a few minutes, and you make your way to the edge of the lake, where you see a stone monument, a stone shrine set up with a carved image of what looks to be an aged monk, bald-headed, seemingly human in appearance, with classic, like distinctly classic monk's robes, a thick beaded necklace hanging around his neck, his hands set in a sort of like very complex prayer posture, eyes closed, expression very soft, and a tall kind of a fairly tall hat sitting kind of up like a small, how do I describe it? It's like like a prayer box almost. It's like tied to the head, and it's a small but fairly tall, like rectangular. A tall rectangular box that seems to be prayed, and on the sides of it there are inscriptions that seem to be as parts of a prayer. This is simply a statue seated cross-legged atop an altar that has been covered in small prayer papers. There are offerings in a shallow wooden bowl that's been set kind of in front of the statue itself. You see, different bits of like dried incense. There's bits of money, precious gems, colorful stones, chipped pieces of pottery, just all sorts of small things that have just been left as offerings. As the priestess looks towards the statue reverently, she simply says, this sits atop where the monk Saionji rests. My dear, as she turns and looks at you, are you capable of speaking with the dead?
It's a magic. I haven't practiced it very frequently. Well, yeah, I could speak with the dead.
All right, then perhaps you shall commune with me.
I am willing to try.
As she kind of sets up and then takes her staff and kind of draws in the dirt in front of the shrine itself, she begins to set up the basis for this ritual. She takes a bit of incense out, sets it down, and lights it, and it begins to burn away. And if you would like to, do you have spell slots for Speak with Dead?
I do.
All right.
I will use a 3rd level spell slot.
Alrighty. As you guys see, May kind of get step forward and then sit down on her knees next to the other priestess. The size disparity immediately apparent and almost comical. The towering, adorable May and the teeny tiny little gnomish priestess. Sitting next to one another, their hands folded, their eyes closed. They begin to mutter a prayer, not the same prayer, but a kind of a complimenting back and forth, until eventually the smoke of the incense begins to swirl in a strange and hypnotic pattern. And then you see it float in front of the face and seem to form a mask, a simple mask, with the implication of eyes and the implication of a mouth, just kind of void spaces in front of the statue's face. And May, you, to your ears, hear, "Hello." And you notice all of you can now see, as they're kind of fading into view, numerous Kodama just kind of arrayed around behind this ritual, in and amongst your guys' feet, all watching very attentively.
Hi.
Yep, you have up to 5 questions to ask.
Okay, how cool is this scene, though?
Thank you.
Like, I'm loving
That was a question.
this.
Shut up! Don't waste questions!
Mr. So do you mean
Sionji.
I can't. What is it?
Sionji.
Sionji. We are looking for a piece of Orochi. I know that no one has sensed it here, but have you seen a piece here?
There's a pause, and the face made of incense smoke kind of contorts in a contemplative expression, and then speaks. "I do know of the Pieces of Orochi and their story. In fact, I'm very familiar. Yes, I do know quite a bit about the pieces." That was 1.
Do you know what kind of magic prevents the lake from being seen through?
The smoky visage says, "The magic is not mine. I do protect this land, but the magic is tied to the lake itself. It does seem to obfuscate. Perhaps protecting something."
Hey, guys, what should I ask?
Is there a piece of Orochi in the lake?
Oh, that's a pretty good question. I
Or
think
just
I
if he knows
inferred
where
that.
it is also.
Hmm?
Or also if he knows where one is nearby.
You know of the pieces. Do you know of a piece being nearby?
The fangs were brought to Nakhon province. They were hidden.
Well, it's a piece of the dragon.
So only May can hear this, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
only May can
well,
hear this. The fangs were hidden. They're in a temple.
Do you say in the temple?
They're in a temple.
A temple. Where is the temple?
I believe the temple is beneath the lake.
Oh.
I've been here a long time, and I get the sense that this lake was made by men, not by nature. I believe you have one more.
I'm gonna quickly relay this to the others, saying that it looks like the snake monster thing's teeth are here. Believed to be hidden in a temple, most likely under the lake. I can ask another question, but I don't know what.
Give us the coordinates, asshole. Oh.
No,
I was gonna say
it's
go
a
ahead, go
temple in a lake. Like, we'll be able to find it. If
There's magic also making the lake hard to like see through. Do you think I should ask about the magic, or
How do we get to the temple?
That wasn't what I was going to say.
oh
I
yeah.
feel like, I mean, yeah, that could be a good question.
Just
Okay.
like if
Yeah.
there's some magical way to access the temple without a whole bunch of difficulty, that'd be fun to know. If there's
mean,
not, that'd also be fun to know.
We're all problem solvers. I feel like we might be able to find a way. If not that
Oh, yeah.
question, I have an idea for a question. Is what resistances we might expect down there when trying to recover the relic, but that we could also discover for ourselves. I just like to go into situations prepared. It's up to the group.
I like that one, because I was already thinking we could probably find our way into the temple if we needed to.
Oh, great. And powerful spirit, do you know of any resistances or enemies that we might find within the temple? Is there anything guarding down there?
I believe there is, yes. None of these pieces of Orochi were simply buried and left to be forgotten. They are guarded. To what specifics, I don't know. But I would be extremely careful. Even in death, Orochi had power, which is why he was divided up and buried all across the continent. The fangs themselves are dangerous. Each piece of Orochi is dangerous. And so are the things that guard the pieces. I sense great unrest in the world right now. Strange things are about. I do believe the pieces are also restless.
Uh-oh.
The smoky face gives you a sympathetic, comforting expression. It says, and it just simply says to you, trust in yourself, trust in your abilities, and trust in your faith. I'm confident you will be fine.
May will bow deeply and touch her forehead to the ground and just utter a thank you.
You see the smoky face smile at you benevolently, and then the incense smoke kind of drifts off as the last bit of incense burns away.
Okay. Spirits are oftentimes very vague and not great at giving you detailed instructions. So, essentially, it sounds like the fangs may be awake and or powerful themselves, but they're definitely guarded if that's not the case. And I don't know by what, he didn't know by what, but we should be on our guard.
Damn.
Also, he said to believe in ourselves and our abilities because he is a very kind spirit and I respect him a lot. He believes in us, so we got this.
My question
I haven't
sucks.
not
We should have went
believed in
with Braves.
myself.
So, Ark, I guess you better get your boat out. You can finally use it somewhere it's meant to be.
I'm so excited as he begins immediately unpacking his boat. He's already been in the process of trying to get it unfolded.
Not in the middle of
At the-
town.
Maybe wait till we get to the lake.
It's not how boats work. He's also, like, he dove into the ocean earlier, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, he can breathe underwater. We'll just
if
send
you
him
want to
by
go
himself.
check out the depths of the lake.
I
Okay.
feel like we need
Try
to
not
wait
to
for
die,
actual
of course.
James.
He kind of
Yes,
shrugs,
of course.
pulls the hood up, and just walks straight down into the water.
Right. So Sears can hold her breath indefinitely, so
Mhm.
I can get with
Yeah.
our
So you and Ark take off. Ark has a good swim speed. He just you kind of grab onto the edge of his cloak, and he begins taking you guys down. As you make your way, you cannot see through the surface of the water, and as your head dips down, it is like most lakes that you've been in, very green, very kind of hard to see through. But as you swim along, you kind of just head straight across and kind of skirt along the bottom. You end up the water ends up to being about 20 or 30 feet deep, probably 30, 35 at its deepest. And as you kind of are making your way along the bottom, make a perception check.
Did Tsujime just kind of like walk away from us while we were talking with Sayonji?
She was actually right next to May during this time, but she was able to hear what was said and kind of is looking at a lot of you. But she's there. She's currently like attending to the shrine itself and cleaning up the dusty old incense and.
Okay.
Cool.
Ray?
So I got a
21.
Yeah.
All right. As you guys have made your way down, it is fairly murky, but eventually you see the kind of silty, sandy bottom. Yes, Ray?
Oh no, resolve this
Yeah.
first.
You see the silty, sandy bottom of the lake eventually gives way to stone, smooth stone, and go ahead.
Oh, can I find an opening, or is it just like
It is a flat stone surface, but as you kind of arrange yourselves and kind of look back and forth between you and Ark, you guys are able to kind of assess that there seems to be it's a stone kind of dais or setting in the ground. It's about 30 feet across on all sides, and set towards the center of it, there seems to be a large stone plaque that's set into it. Like a cover or a lid or something like that.
I'd like to investigate that and see exactly what it is on
Go
closer
ahead.
inspection.
Go ahead and make an investigation check. Eight.
9.
9. As you are looking, you can't really figure out. Ark is also going to. Yeah, Ark got a natural 1. You guys can't really figure out. It could be an entrance, although you don't really know how to open it.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just go to the surface. And
As you guys surface, you find yourself roughly in the dead center of the lake.
oh, nice.
Disgusting.
That's where I
Yeah,
would have
that's-
assumed the temple was.
Same.
Ray, did you have something you were wanting to do?
Yeah, while they're down there and we're up here with nothing better to do, she's going to talk with the priestess. The last authority figure she showed the spear to scoffed at it.
Mm-hmm.
So she's curious, as sheltered as she is, she's curious as to who actually gives any credence to this kind of thing anymore.
Okay.
Essentially, she'll like try and bother the priestess and be like, Has the capital forgotten?
She looks to you and says, I do not pretend to know much in the way of politics, but too many people forget about where we come from and the stories that made our great land what it is. They are far more concerned with the here and the now, but it's a foolish perspective. I mean, of course, you deal with what's in front of you, but it seems many have forgotten.
So what's the rank of the person that what was Matsura's rank?
Matsura, he was basically an imperial investigator. He was an imperial magistrate, is what he was.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
his subordinates?
You have no idea. They may not fit inside normal hierarchy, as best you can tell. They were his agents, so they were subservient to him.
So I'll frame it that way.
Mhm.
The agents of an imperial magistrate told me that this was fairy tales and nonsense.
It has been long enough that some people don't necessarily believe the story of Orochi anymore. Fools, all of them, but memory does
They were
fade.
going to try to stop us. I killed one. Was I right?
Well, again, I'm no authority on life and death, but if you carry the spear and they tried to stop you, it sounds to me like you did what was necessary. It may not be the most comfortable thing, but life is not comfortable. The world by itself is cold and hard, and it is only as comfortable as we make it.
Ray rolled shit on a self-imposed wisdom saving throw and is going to continue to torture herself over this.
So I'm assuming this is all happening in front of us.
Yeah.
So oh, shoot, I had something I wanted to say and I'm losing it. Hang on. Crap. Brain, please. Okay, well, Yukio will just kind of walk up and place his hand on Ray's shoulder and say, "The life had to be ended. While it's unfortunate, it's not something you should dwell on."
She kind of cat bats at your hand. Just like,
I won't move it. Just
Then
kind of
she
wait for
will-
you to acknowledge me.
she will literally duck, kind of like slink, like roundabout and slink away.
Do the cat thing where they
Yup.
like try to get
Yeah.
underneath that thing above them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, no,
that's
Yeah.
fine.
cat. Right. Your companions eventually return from the center of the lake, sopping wet as they shake themselves out. A playful grin on Sirius's face and a matching one on the architect's.
How'd it go, you two?
So, I don't know what I don't understand what I saw down there. I assume it means the temple's down there, but there is a great deal of stone, basically dead center in the lake. And in the middle, there's some kind of a latch or portion that is not, or that is not similar to the rest of the structure. But somebody with a bit more brain power is gonna have to go down there with me.
I mean, you have the architect.
I'm just gonna look at the architect like.
Like, I don't know what it is.
If
Let's
you
get in the boat.
hadn't been so- if you two hadn't been so hasty, I could have empowered you a little bit.
But I'm already great.
Sure.
It's official. He holds up his thing.
You know what? You just continue being official. You can do this on your own.
Perfect. As he begins climbing into his boat, pulling out an oar.
Let me look at something real
Cool.
fast.
If we can find some way for us all to go.
The
under
boat is
water,
big. It's a. Let me find it here.
Under
I
the
was
water. safely.
saying under the water. So
Oh.
Yeah, the architect, can you, do you cast spells? Oh, wait, no, Ray, do you have water breathing?
No.
Do you not know the spell, or
No, I don't.
maybe
Look at
someone?
me.
Why don't we go ask the priest? Maybe the priest can teach you the spell.
Well, she is right here, so
Okay, yeah.
I'll.
I forgot.
She looks. She like cranes to look up at you. Just don't forget me, just because I'm out of eyesight.
Sorry. Do you know water breathing? Are you familiar with that spell?
It's not part of my daily practices, no.
Do you know of any wizards in the area?
My dear, I am a simple, holy woman. I don't speak a whole lot with Imperial wizards.
A
Would you have
library
no
would be
villages?
sufficient.
We don't really have one. I have a few scrolls, but we are a humble folk.
Do you know of any other way to breathe underwater? Do you know of any type of alchemic concoction we can create? Anything of that nature?
I'm sorry. I don't have anything that comes to mind.
How?
Scion-
I hate
Go
to
ahead.
ask, can we drain the lake?
That would be quite an amazing feat if you had magic that could move the water, perhaps, but not something I have prepared for the day.
No infrastructure?
No, not it. It's a lake. It's got fish. People bathe in it for good luck.
How deep is the temple under there?
About 35 feet.
Oh, that's pretty shallow.
May, you had something?
I was just gonna say, why didn't we keep track of how long it took them to go down there and come back? We might just be able to swim.
Well, we have to continuously be underwater to explore the
So-
temple.
I'm not very good at this.
Well, we don't know what's on the inside yet. There could be air.
Yeah, maybe the architect or Sarah should go and check.
Sionji
Yeah.
told us to trust in ourselves and our abilities. Perhaps we already have his
Oh,
blessing.
Ray's got it.
Hmm.
Ray, since this is not a time-sensitive thing, Ray could summon a familiar, in this case something water-breathing, either amphibious or a fish, have it go down, warg out, and investigate the damn thing to open it.
Yeah, we could try that.
It couldn't use your investigation though.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
is that right?
I think that's correct. It has to use the creature stats.
Well, so no one else has gone into this temple before? I'll look at the priestess. That's where I directed my question.
She didn't.
My dear, I had no idea there was a temple under the water.
Not even any of those other sorts of folks that have been swimming in the water, the Kappa?
No, there's stories of stone down at the base of the lake, but I did not realize it was a temple, and pardon me, but I'm not much of a swimmer. Sink like a rock.
As
Well,
do I,
everyone-
which is why I would like to avoid getting into the water.
While everyone ignored Lee's comment, they're going to try and just walk into the water.
Okay.
Is Lee fine?
Yeah.
Does he feel like he has Seonji's blessing and can breathe and shit?
Do you try and take a gulp of air underwater?
Yeah.
You immediately start coughing water.
Makes sense.
If he comes back out, I'm gonna laugh at him.
So he comes back out, kind of coughing and retching a little bit, and
I'd like to attempt something that has almost no chance working, but it's a class feature I haven't gotten to use yet.
Mhm.
I would like to attempt to ask for the aid of my Kodama divine intervention to perchance give us all water breathing.
Okay, roll a d100 if you get a total of 10 or less.
I got this.
the opposite.
I thought that 9 was mine for a second. I was like, I'm gonna poop myself. Okay. I will have done this kind of on the down low,
Gotcha.
and just twiddle my thumbs, look up, and pretend it never happened.
Okay. You quietly appeal to the Kodama, but unfortunately, they are unable to help. They just kind of, their heads rattle.
I know, you're not so good with the water, babies. There's not enough life down there. Thank God. Gods.
Well, since it's not too far down, maybe we should just take the boat to the middle of the lake and each of us swim down and take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm able to amplify our abilities a little bit, so I might be able to help with just holding our breath.
I'm absolutely not doing that. I sink like a rock, but I'll let you guys handle that.
Yeah. I believe you can hold your breath for a number of minutes equal to your Constitution modifier.
I can hold my breath a while, but I'm in plate mail.
Ooh.
True.
Could always take it
You
off.
will not swim well. Like, I don't really care what your strength
Yeah.
score is. If you're wearing 40 pounds of steel, you're sinking.
Nope, I sink. Even then, I still sink. Have you seen this body? I'm all rock hard muscle. I sink
Dense.
to the bottom.
We've seen the body. We should figure this out.
Okay, wow. I dived in a little bit to the rule set, and this is something that has just not been resolved. In terms of using a perception or investigation check for your familiar's eyes, it has not had like a ruling come down from wizards, but people argue about it all the time apparently.
Oh, I always thought it was the creature stats.
I will rule that if you are proficient, you can add your proficiency bonus to the creature's investigation because you are directing it, but you use its senses. So its wisdom score or its intelligence score.
I mean, I could always send in my spiritual war horse because I don't think it needs to breathe and it can communicate with me and has an intelligence high enough to communicate.
Jesus Christ.
But can it understand and problem solve?
Um,
Just because it can communicate
Its
doesn't mean it
intelligence-
can think critically.
Its intelligence automatically becomes 6.
Okay, so
Okay, 6 is good. 6 is solid. 6 is sapient. I will tell you, in general,
Like
horses are, although quite capable and interesting and unique, as far as animals go, not that bright.
I mean, I can
normally it's probably
honestly,
a 3.
I can
maybe.
resummon my mount into any store. There's a guideline for mounts, and then anything that the DM approves. It doesn't have to be a horse.
True.
So I could
It's
summon it. I
horse.
could literally summon it to like a big old lizard or something.
Seahorse. Giant
Her
seahorse.
horse is as smart as Atlas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
God, Atlas, I miss you, you gigantic lug. Door thrower. Man breaker.
Oh, while this is going on, I also have a herbalism kit. If I can try to concoct anything that can be drinking, like a poultice, or poultices aren't drinking, you know what I mean?
Yep, a potion.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of potion are you trying to make?
Hold on 1 second.
I'm assuming you all are gathering in the boat and rowing your way out to the middle of the lake. So,
Potion of water breathing.
Yukio will not be in the boat. He will instead be walking along the water next to the boat.
Show off.
Yes,
show
I am.
off.
If you don't know that by now, I don't know where you've been.
Oh, I know.
Potion of water breathing. That would require more time to make.
Entirely fair. Continue.
Yes. I also sent you something privately, dear.
Oh. I
Um,
don't know. I don't see it.
Well, it's the same reason you never see it, because it's probably on Messenger.
Oh, it's on Facebook. Sorry.
Well, I guess I'll give it the old college try.
All right.
I'm gonna swim down and investigate the thing.
All right. It's about
Also
35
do that.
feet. You swim, making your way down as quick as you can. Go ahead and make an investigation check with disadvantage. It is murky and crappy down here. And you are having to split your focus between holding your breath and paying attention.
Makes
I'll do
sense.
the same thing. Not exactly my strong suit.
Okay,
Oh,
so
no.
for find familiar, it gives you
Oh no.
it gives you some mount, and then it says anything else the DM will approve.
So I got a 4 and a 1.
Okay, so you don't see shit.
No, I do not. I'm gonna swim back to the top.
What'd you get, Lee?
I got a total of 13.
13. You find the large, kind of 30-foot by 30-foot, like plate of stone, or the stone surface down there. And there is a carving about, I'd say, 8 feet on any one side, basically dead center of that. Looking at it, it looks like there's a lip all around it that you could maybe stick your hands in, but beyond that, you have no indication as to how to get it open.
Okay.
So, Ray is racking her brain at the moment. All right. So, the only thing she can really think of is a teleportation circle, but that requires her to know what the key sigils are
Mhm.
for a teleportation circle that may or may not exist inside the temple.
Yeah. Zavas?
The only thing that she can think of in that instance is to like try and comb through what little documentation
Okay.
the priestess has to try and figure that
If there is one.
if there is one,
Mhm.
and if so, what the sigils might be. But that's kind of like a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't even know there's a temple down there, and if they have only a few scrolls, they've read them all.
Then yeah, it's
Mhm.
like I said, it's not very.
I have a
Enough.
thought, but
Yeah, May?
go ahead.
I know our mission is grand, but is it entirely urgent that we get to the temple today? I don't have the magics prepared, but I do actually have a spell that allows me to literally control water. I'm not able to switch out my spells whenever I want to on a whim. I have to do it upon resting. Kind of, I don't know, I have to restore my powers.
Can you control
That's a
enough
good
water
idea.
to get us into the temple?
I am able to control, I believe, I think it's a yes. Out of character, I think yes.
Does it give you like a volume?
You can choose.
It doesn't give me a volume. It just says my range/area is 300 feet.
So until the spell ends, you control any freestanding water inside an area you choose that is a cube up to 100 feet on a side.
So
But
yes,
I can do stuff like part it, or redirect the flow, or make a whirlpool.
100-foot cube is
well,
plenty.
yeah, no. If you said 35 foot down, we can just open that.
Mm-hmm.
May, you could literally just make the lake go.
Yup.
Arch
Hopefully,
up into big walls of water.
Of course, if any of you find anything that we could do that doesn't require us waiting a whole day, that would be excellent. It's just it's a backup plan should we need it, because we won't have to worry about holding our breath if
I don't think there's any reason for us to be in a rush.
Yeah, seems more like a primary plan than a backup plan.
I can only split or control the water for up to 10 minutes though, so if we
That's
can all
enough.
get down there and
That's enough to investigate and look it
Yeah.
over and see if we can't get in.
Mm-hmm. And maybe if we get inside, there'll be air inside, and then I can just let it go.
Works for me.
Ideally.
All right.
By the way, I'm loving the imagery of Yukio swimming up to the top, like getting himself out of the lake,
Yeah.
up on top of the lake, and then helping Lee into the boat while standing on the water.
I like it. I love it. All right. Architect goes, so we're waiting for a day then?
Yeah, we could.
Yep.
Seems like our
I'm
best
fine with
plan.
waiting for a day.
Great, now to go get that hat, as he begins rowing you guys back to shore.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to do it quicker.
I don't think anyone blames you, May.
I would rather not go down into the water. I wouldn't go into the water right now, so.
Well, don't worry, there won't be water there soon, so you won't have to. And no
Oh,
one
good.
can call you a coward because you'll be going. There just won't be water.
Oh, I'm not a coward. However, I know that I can't swim, and I am not afraid to
would
admit
never call
that.
you a coward.
I would hope not. That would end poorly for you.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe smile.
Noted. Not ending poorly for me.
All right. And I believe that is where I will call the session for the evening.
That sounds
Nice.
good to me.
We have our heading.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. Obviously, next week is a holiday week, so we will not
Yeah.
be playing.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I'm good after that.
Yeah, but after that, we should be on full stream schedule. Straight on.
Yes.
What, second star from the left and straight on till morning? Is that how that goes?
Yeah.
I think so.
Nice. I remember things from a long time ago.
Yes.
That sounds fake.
That's awesome.
That sounds fake.
Well, thank you to those of you who are watching, and until next time, looking forward to seeing you. Have a wonderful evening.